I'm delighted to be joined by UFC bantamweight Ricky Simone for LowKick MMA. Hey Ricky, how are you feeling today?
Ah, man, it's Friday. I'm tired, bro. I'm so tired, man. But good. I'm feeling good.
You got your workout and you're getting ready to settle in for the weekend?
Yeah, yep. I had 4 sessions today.
Wow.
I'm ready to relax. And I got sparring tomorrow. So camps in. I'm in like full camp mode. I'm ready to go beat up Jack Shore in New York, July 16th.
Yes, and you're going to face the undefeated Jack Shore. I wanted to ask you, does that zero losses on his record play a part mentally? Does that impact you?
Not at all, man. Not at all. He's 16-0, but I'm the one. I've been telling everybody I'm going to be his first loss. I mean, he's undefeated as an amateur, undefeated as a pro, but he's never fought anybody like me. And I mean, I was there too, man. I was undefeated as an amateur. I had been like 11-0. I got to at one point in my career I was 15-1, so very similar to this guy. I've been there too. And but the difference is I've fought tougher competition.
Right, so what's your prediction for the fight?
The prediction for the fight is I'm gonna use my good old American wrestling, and I'm gonna control where the fight goes, and I'm gonna keep these finishes coming. I just got a knockout over a legend of the division, Rafael Sunsao. I'm gonna keep those. I'm so comfortable in there now. I don't know. I'm gonna keep the finishes are gonna keep coming.
Yeah, you're coming off like you're on a 4-fight win streak. You're coming off that beautiful knockout over Rafael Ascenso, absolute legend of the game. I wanted to ask you, were you rewarded for that finish? Were you given any bonuses behind the scenes or anything of the sort?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not of the night bonus, but
Mm.
the UFC still treated me nicely for that finish.
Hell yeah, man! I'm happy for you. Happy to hear that.
Thanks, bro.
So
Thank you.
yeah, you mentioned that as you step more into the cage, you get more experience. You're feeling more comfortable inside there. What do you feel like is needed in your game to improve? Maybe in the element that you feel like you'll just gain with more experience to get to the title.
Um, I think for me, it was just. I mean, I have the experience. I'm 22 pro fights in, and like I said, I had over a dozen amateur competitions as well, and then all the wrestling matches. So the experience is definitely there. It just took me a little bit longer than I would have liked to get as comfortable in there. And but the last few, I've been coming into my own. I think I've. It sucks to say, but I think I was one of those guys who might have been better in the gym. I heard about those guys. My entire career. I'm so loose in the gym. I'm so flowy. Everything feels good. But those bright lights hit, and you don't want to make a mistake. And sometimes you can be affected by that. And I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen in the fights to come? But I'm in a great place right now.
Yeah, a lot of other fighters have alluded to that same fact where there's a lot of guys who are good in the gym, but they're not able to translate that into a performance inside the octagon. What do you
Mhm.
feel like it is, if you can expand on that a little bit?
I think because I just felt the pressure from myself, and I was scared to experience a loss for the longest time, because I was undefeated and I hadn't experienced that too much. And I think honestly, just I had been through everything. I've had some great wins. I've had some horrible losses, and I think just mentally, I'm prepared for either. Whatever happens, I accept the outcome, and I know that I can trust myself to do what's right in there. And I think the mentality and the experience and the talent level is all just meeting at this perfect age I'm at right now. Still in my 20s, but I'm turning 30 this summer, so I feel like I'm just hitting my prime.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is the perfect age for you where you can, just get into it. And it's an exciting time in the bantamweight division. It gets me so pumped whenever I look at what's going on. Like right now, Aljo, right, the champion of 135, Sterling, he came out and he supported, guess who? Merab Dvalishvili. He said that he wants to move up to featherweight, and then Merab can wreak havoc, his words. And of course, I'm Merab, great fighter from what I have seen, but you already have won over Merab. And is
Mhm.
that like, what are your thoughts on the guy? Do you feel like a rematch with him might get you closer to the title contention?
Definitely. I think that'd be a very exciting fight as well. I mean, he has a loss since I beat him. I believe he's on a 7-fight win streak, ranked number 6 in the world. and here I'm, in the back of the top 15, just having to fight, whoever's. But I mean, I think I'm better. I beat him. I think I have more talent than a lot of these guys in the division, and I think I'm going to go out there. I'm going to beat an undefeated kid, and then I'm going to get opportunities like a rematch with which I don't really care if we have a rematch or not. I feel like he would want that more than I should want it. But it's just at the point where I kind of feel like we both always knew that we might end up fighting each other again, and it's a possibility. But like you said, the bantamweight division is so rich right now, and there's so many fun matchups that could be made. Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen for this fight and after.
Yeah, so let's map out your route to getting to the title, right? Now, of course, without overlooking or looking past Jack Shore, giving all due respect to him, we look at the other ones, right? Say TJ Dillashaw gets booked in with Sterling, and then Piotr Jan gets booked in with Marlon Vera. Who are you looking at in the top 10 or top 5 after Jack Shore to get closer to that shot?
I look at the rankings all the time, and
yeah,
I think it'll depend because, like you said, like I can't look past Jack. I have business July 16th in New York, but and by that time, who knows where the division will be? And some of these fights are going to play out. I know O'Malley is going to be fighting Pedro, so we can see what happens with that and see if he can pass that test. I mean, there's going to be plenty of fights. So I'm going to have to see where the division lies after my fight July 16th, I think.
Yeah, in a prior interview, Mike Heck had suggested to you that Pedro Munhoz would be amazing for your next fight. That was after the Asuncao fight, right? Mm-hmm. And now here is Munhoz fighting Sean O'Malley, a kid you didn't want to bully into fighting you. What do you make of that? Munhoz is ranked higher than you. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would he not fight you and take a guy that's higher on the rankings?
You know why. He don't want to deal with the wrestling. He don't want to deal with that wrestling. His skinny body couldn't handle the power doubles for sure. But and I think Pedro will be. He knows Pedro will be more comfortable standing with him for longer periods of time. It won't give him that wrestling look. I just such a bad matchup for him at this stage of his career that he's not going to take the fight, which is, all right. If you want to play your way to the title, I mean, that's all on you, all good on you. But don't be saying my name and acting like you want to fight me if you don't want to fight me. That pisses me off. And we're gonna. I'm all about it. Like I want to find out. I think I'm the best in the world at this point. I want to fight whoever because I think I can beat them all. But don't be talking that and acting like you're something when you're not.
Yeah. So like, you're someone who's an active fighter who enjoys being active. We don't often get to see you 10 months separate from your 2 fights, right? You like to get in there. Now, as your stardom gets bigger and you become more and more of a star in the UFC, how do you plan on dealing with getting fewer matchups? Because when your stardom is high, UFC won't let you fight 4 times a year. They want to make sure your fights are big and limited.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. I've been kind of dealing with that in this last year a little bit because even though last year I got 3 fights in, it was January, February, and then December. I think it was 9 months, and then my last fight is December. Here we are going to be fighting in July, so that's a little bit longer of times in between than I would like. I like 3 or 4 fights a year. That keeps me active and it keeps me. I mean, like I train all the time, anyways. I'm in the gym 6 days a week. 3 sessions a day. So this is all I do. This is all I live for. So let me get out there and perform a little bit more.
Yeah. So when you look at Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munhoz, who do you see taking that one?
It's interesting. Because O'Malley has the length and he has that slick stand up, but Pedro has a nice high guard and really nice low kick. And we know O'Malley can't take that low kick very well. So it's gonna be fun. And I don't think Pedro's been finished, right? Pedro hasn't been finished in the UFC.
I believe not. I'll confirm that once again. Not in the UFC, no. I haven't seen that.
Okay. Well, and then O'Malley couldn't even finish 125 on short notice. So I mean, I don't know. I think he's slick and he's fast, but I don't know. I don't think he's durable. I think Pedro's more durable and he hits harder.
Yeah, Pedro's never been finished. Not even a single submission, not anything of the kind.
What a badass.
So, do you feel like that would still interest you if Pedro comes out on top, or say Sean O'Malley comes on top? You're willing to fight either of the winners, or you would rather prefer someone ranked higher than them?
I can. I mean, I prefer someone ranked probably higher, but I mean, it don't matter what I think. The UFC could call me and tell me who they want me to fight. And I'm gonna say yes because at the end of the day, I want to fight. I want to stay active, and I don't want to be saying no to fights and to be shelved for whatever long, for while they're trying to figure out my next fight. Like I want to stay active, and as long as I can keep having great performances, I think that's going to speak for itself, and I'm going to get the opportunities because I mean, this next fight is going to be my 10th fight in the UFC. I've kind of proven that I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, of course, man. And now your aim, I feel like, has been over the last few fights to get more finishes. It's not been to just go out there, get wins. You're looking. That's why I asked you about the bonus things, because I'm like, you know what? He needs to get these bonuses by the way you're finishing these guys. And all the best to you for your next fight as well, man. But let's shift
Thank
to
you.
yes, let's shift to another topic. We all saw Carla Esparza win her title again against Rose Namajunas. You were rooting for her. She's your teammate. What did you make of that fight?
Yeah, I was there live. It was a awkward fight. It was interesting, but at the end of the day, I mean, I couldn't be any happier for Carla. I mean, she beat Rose and it's what's so cool. She has both the belts. She has the old school belt and she got the new belt. That's so I'm so jealous. That's so cool that she has both belts. I mean, regardless of how it happened, I mean, what you think about the fight? I mean, that girl is tough as hell. She had a great winning streak to even get back to the title, and she beat Rose, who beats all the best girls in the division. Joanna and Wei Lee, and I mean, she's right in the mix. So I'm excited for her. And it's so motivating seeing one of your teammates get that gold wrapped around their waist.
Yeah, and you brought up her first when she's the inaugural divisional champion in the UFC, and she won that again against Rose once more time. And at that time, it was like, okay, who is going to win it? And this time, she took it from her. But let's talk about, because I saw your tweet, right, about open scoring. When we watched that fight, and then when we watched Holly Holm, Kathleen Vieira, I would like to know, what do you make of open scoring? Do you feel like fighters would coast? Would you coast, Ricky, if you knew you were up on the scorecard by 2 rounds and you only had one more round left?
Man, coasting is hard, man, because they say you'll coast, but maybe you won't take as many chances. But to not take any chances and to try to coast is a dangerous game too if you're sitting back and waiting too much. But I like the idea of open scoring because I mean it could be very exciting to like actually know live like who's winning and what you have to do. It could make for even more exciting fights. Yeah, one guy might be coasting and that might be boring, but the other guy's going out there or girl is going out there and trying to get the finish. So it's gonna make for an exciting fight either way. And it's not. I mean, and I think it's gonna hold the judges more accountable. That way we know is like after a round that it's very obvious one way, and then you get 2 judges scoring it wrong. You're like, all right, something needs to be changed here because I think ultimately that's what's wrong is the judging. But I mean, it's so sporadic in their decisions, and sometimes I don't even know. Like I'm trying to judge the fight how I think, and then I'm trying to judge the fights how I think the judges are judging the fights, and it's just like I feel like I never know.
Right. So there was this gap of how we interpret what we are seeing versus how the judges are told to interpret the rules in the book. So do you feel like the new training camp that has been set up by the commission, where the commentators are going to get more educated, would help lessen that gap between the audience and the fighters and the judges?
Yeah. I mean, I think that could be exciting, but you never really want to be like the first to like have that. So I like that they're doing that. Like, where are they doing that? Kansas City, or where are they doing that open scoring in Victor? Right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
where
in
they're.
Florida, I believe. Laura Sanko was talking about it. She was involved. She did do a couple of events, and she was talking about how
Okay.
fighters were hosting. But then on the other side of the argument, Michael Bisping was talking with Anthony Smith about like fighters are not gonna coast. When you're at that level, you're not gonna coast. And Anthony Smith brought up a good point, which I kind of agree with, where like the fighters and the judges should be privy to this course, if not the audience. Because come on, man, it's so much fun when you say "and still" or "and new." That's like one of the most unique things to our combat sport.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I'd like to see maybe it play out a little bit longer. Like we shouldn't just introduce it to the best organization in the world. We shouldn't just start doing it in the UFC. Maybe we should put it in some of these regional promotions around and see how it plays out, and then let's see if it works, and maybe we can start adding it in. But I mean, so I feel like something should be done for these judges though, because some of these guys, I mean, how are you guys still? I'm worried. I'm fighting in New York, and every time I hear some scorecards out in New York. I'm like, what the hell is going on out there? So I don't know, but something should change with the judging for sure, though.
Yeah, a need for more accountability is something that I feel like we can all agree with, regardless of open scoring, close scoring, whatever. Now, Ricky, I also noticed something else on your Twitter just yesterday. You shared a video of Matt Walsh from the series What is a Woman? Hashtag What is a Woman? And you said that we are failing our kids. Could you talk to me about what your message is there?
Did you get a chance to watch that full documentary?
Not the full documentary, but I feel like I got the gist of it from what I saw.
I think it just kind of, I mean, if you really watch it, then you'd get it a little bit more. But yeah, I just think it's some legislation that's going through, like the schooling and like, especially in Canada, like you're starting to see like, you know, like, and I don't want to get into too much, but for instance, like I'm worried about like just how much it affects the kids. I have, you know, little brother, it's a middle school, little sister, elementary school, going to middle school, and it's like happening more and more. And I think I don't know, like it's so hard these days to even talk about these things without having to worry about like pissing someone off. And I think that's the thing, is everyone's scared to like to be outspoken, and because they're scared of being canceled online and whatnot. But yeah, I honestly, I just think that yeah, just
yeah, I don't mean
yeah,
to
sorry, man. Sorry, yeah.
No worries. I don't mean to put you on the spotlight here. And I do feel like the pendulum is swinging back into being more balanced, where people can talk about these things now. And hey, man, full respect to you. If that's something that you feel uncomfortable, you've already shared your message by that tweet. I get it. So
Yeah.
before
and you know what too is like I do that, and I stop myself so often, because I'm like, I don't want my page to be like this political bullshit, you know. But I feel like it's like at some point it's like if I'm seeing it this much and I'm hearing about it this much, maybe I should, like at least put my opinion out there, because that's what was being talked about. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man, because like, it's that 80-20 rule. If you say something, 80% are gonna love it, 20% are gonna hate it. Like, it's never gonna be 100-0. So I just feel like if you have a message to share, because you are in that position, Ricky, people look up to you, they get inspired by you. And I was gonna get a mullet as well, but I don't see it on you right now. Where is it?
Yeah, man, a little bit of a switch up. I think, man, I kept getting pinned to the mat by my hair. It was getting long, and then I cut it short, and then a short mullet just didn't feel right. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna let that thing flow. So I just decided to go with the normal haircut right now. It's a little weird. It's a bit strange. I feel like I'm wearing a hat most of the time, just because I'm too lazy to do my hair. I should just buzz it off. I'm almost at that point. But I feel like maybe in the future, maybe on a title run or a next exciting fight, maybe I'll bust out the mullet again. Maybe I'll start growing it back out.
Hell yeah, with a 3-step tutorial. Ricky, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to have this interview with us here today. Before we wrap this up, I would like to give you the floor to give a shout out to any teammates, sponsors, gyms, etc.
Yeah, well, first I'll say thanks to my gyms, Champ Camp Training, American Top Team Portland, and Team Oyama. And then you can follow me at Instagram and Twitter at Ricky Simone UFC. And I got all my sponsors plastered on there. So thank you for all the support. Appreciate you guys. And thank you for having me on.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Ricky.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.